I'm going to tell the YouTube chat right now, ain't nothing going to break my stride. Ain't nothing going to slow me down.
Are they coming after you?
Oh, of course. Oh, it's a Brock stand. There he comes again. I don't even think that this is a clear. I don't even think that it's a clear-cut answer. Brock or Kirk. I think that you could make a case for Kirk Cousins in terms of the experience department, in terms of the steady Eddie nature, bigger arm. I don't know that I would give him accuracy over Brock. I think they're both very accurate quarterbacks. Brock has had fewer attempts at the quote-unquote big moment, but when he gets those attempts, done a hell of a lot better with it. Brock is more mobile. I think that both process information pretty well. I actually think both of them have an awesome complement of weapons. Oh, Brock's got the best weapons. Well, as of a year ago, or even this year, like Dalvin Cook out, I get that. The run game is down a little bit. But Justin Jefferson and this new kid, Jordan Addison, before that it was Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne is their third. Like, TJ Hawkinson's his tight end. Like, he's got people now.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't have a defense that'll stop anybody on the other side, so he can't get away sometimes with only scoring 30. He's got to score 37. But I think there's a very fair conversation here. And we're on it because this came up in the changeover.
Right.
And our two predecessors thought that this was a ridiculous question.
And I think if you just look at the numbers, Kirk Cousins throws the ball more, and he throws for more yards and more touchdowns and all the rest of it. So in terms of what he does in the construct of that offense, he does do more. Now, if he came here and Brock was there, could Brock do what Kirk is doing in terms of how much they throw it and how often they go to three wide receivers? And, you know, you look at his attempts per game, and he's thrown it more than 40 times in 4 of the 6 games they've played this year. I don't think that Brock has thrown it 40 times once this year. Maybe not even once in his career.
I don't know that he ever
attempted
has.
it 40 times.
I'll look at his game log. I certainly cannot think of one where he did.
As you're checking the log, this year Cousins has gone 29 of 47, 32 of 50, 31 of 44, and 33 of 44.
Yeah.
4 of the 6 games this year, he's thrown it more than 40 times. They don't have a great run game, but also they entrust Kirk Cousins to throw it a lot. So when you just look at the numbers, Cousins does have better numbers in terms of yards and touchdowns and the rest of it.
Okay, if I go to Brock Purdy's game log, most attempts in a football game this year, 37, came against the New York Giants, the Thursday night home opener. 25 of 37. Now,
for how many yards? Like 250?
310.
Okay.
310.
Yeah, my bad.
And then if we go to last year, did he ever have 40 attempts in a game? There's one that I'm trying to think of. Oh, yeah, even that Raider game where he had to chase some points now.
Mm-hmm.
Overtime, 37-34, 35 attempts.
Yeah.
He had 37 against Miami, the game where he didn't even enter until late in the first quarter.
Right.
So twice he's thrown 37 and seen. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the highest he's ever done.
So Kirk, 4 times this year, he's thrown it more than 40 times.
Right.
So when you look at just the raw numbers of it, and he's got 14 passing touchdowns for Kirk Cousins, which puts him tied for first in the NFL, and that's great. He throws it a lot. And in terms of total attempts, he is number 3 in the NFL. So only Derek Carr and Trevor Lawrence, who each have played 7 games, have thrown it more often than Kirk Cousins. So if Kirk were here and Brock were there, could Brock have the numbers that Kirk has there? Absolutely. If Brock was throwing it as much as Kirk does.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, Brock's on a better team. Factor that in.
A much more of a run-heavy team.
Right. Again, different systems. Like I tend to believe that people like Brock Purdy and Kirk Cousins will largely be solid no matter where you put them. Kirk Cousins is a good player. Is he a Super Bowl winning quarterback if given this coach and this team, this defense, these weapons? Maybe. Is Brock Purdy? I can still only firmly answer maybe, although I've watched Brock go into the playoffs with this group and do very, very well. I've never seen Kirk Cousins go into the playoffs and do very, very well.
Right.
But, yeah, he does have less. I get that. It's a Football Friday brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. Okay, we want to go to the phones. I want to welcome this one in. This is Kobe in the city, and I am 99% sure that I heard Kobe on the air with Bonte and Shasky this morning at like 6:45.
Okay,
I was out
Kobe's
about
doing the AM PM thing.
Yes, and Kobe said, because they were having a Debo conversation, and Kobe goes, "You got to get Debo out of here. Get him out of here and get Justin Jefferson next year."
Wow.
Right? Well, Kobe's very young fella, young buck. So, okay, you got to get starry eyes for Justin Jefferson. And then he keeps talking, and he goes, and they got to trade that guy McCaffrey. They trade him. Get him out of here and get like Dalvin Cook or something. And I'm like, hold up. And then that's when Bonte was like, wait a minute, man, you need to read a book or something like that.
Wow.
Kobe, was that you? You on with Willard and Dibs. Was that you this morning?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you want to say? Yeah. Go ahead.
Kirk Cousins sucks, man. He sucks. We don't need to trade Brock Purdy.
Okay.
Man, he sucks on some women.
Now, do you want to walk back your comments about Christian McCaffrey at 6 this morning?
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, he plays way too much. We need to cut him off the team. We need to get Dalvin Cook or someone better than him.
Okay.
Because Christian McCaffrey, he sucks, and Debo Samuel, we really need Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Okay, Kobe, thank you.
Kobe, I love it. Bringing it.
Kobe.
Totally. I mean,
listen, I thought maybe.
I'm glad he didn't say it. And Willard sucks.
Yeah, well,
and Dibs,
no.
and you suck.
Look, if you think Christian McCaffrey sucks, you're welcome to also say I suck.
Dude, he was
I think that'd be great.
rat-a-tat-tatting everybody.
I know, but he loves Brock Purdy.
You think
He
Kobe's
does.
watched Dalvin Cook play this year?
I don't know. Yeah, Dalvin Cook is absolutely on the downside of the career.
Or watched last year, maybe?
But I thought.
Easy, Lucas. He's a kid, okay?
I thought
Dalvin Cook hasn't been good for like 3 years.
But listen, some people are morning people, and some people are night owls. I wanted to give the young fella a chance. I thought, look, he's had 8 hours. Maybe he hadn't had any eggs yet. Right? Somebody got him some protein, and he wanted to be like, actually, I'm sorry, Christian McCaffrey's pretty awesome. It's the anniversary of his acquisition, and I love the guy. But no, 8 hours later and 2 meals, this kid still thinks that we ought to flip McCaffrey for Dalvin Cook.
I wonder if he goes around his grammar school and like, and you, the yard duty, and you suck, and the school nurse, and the principal, and the crossing guard.
Maybe that's why he's available at 2:30 in the afternoon. Kobe, aren't you supposed to still be in school?
And this school sucks.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. All right. How about Eric in Pacifica? Hey, Eric, do you as well think Christian McCaffrey sucks?
I do not.
Okay.
I know he doesn't suck.
All right. Welcome, Eric.
Thanks. Before I launch into my Brock Purdy point, Dibs, do you know who won the knockout last year at Chase Center?
I want to say it was Brian Posadas, former player of mine at St. Joseph's Notre Dame. He was my outside hitter / setter when I rescued the program in 2006, Eric.
We had knockout at Chase last year?
I don't know if we had it.
We
but
didn't. Someone did.
It was had, and my guy Beepo ran the table and won. Yes, Eric, thank you for that call back. And he recently celebrated his anniversary, so shout out Beepo.
Yeah. Yeah, my step done good. I got to go and say the question is a stupid one. No one's going to switch quarterbacks mid-season when you've got a serviceable quarterback who's actually doing great. No matter how good Kirk Cousins is or how much he could be better than Brock Purdy, the time needed and the investment just to get him up to speed renders that just a moot point.
Well, okay, what if we asked it differently since you called our question stupid, Eric?
Jesus, Eric. Thought we were family.
What if I just simplified it? Who do you think's better?
I think that at this point I would say Brock Purdy's better. I know Kirk is a great passer, but he's going to be on the downside of his career, especially if you're throwing 40, 45 times a game.
Yeah. Eric, here's the way I would answer it and why I would answer it this way. Thank you, Eric, even though you wildly insulted us.
Yeah. Geez, after we had a moment there. I know Eric
felt like we had chemistry, a little bit of something going on. Anyway, here's how I'd answer the question, because I do think that a rational person can come down on either side of this. I really do. But Kirk Cousins has disappointed his fans more than Brock Purdy has disappointed his. And while that's a bit unfair because Kirk has had so many more years in the league, Kirk has found a way out of the fourth round to elevate himself to being a very, very highly paid quarterback in this league. But when you do get $85 million guaranteed, he was one of the first through the door to get a fully guaranteed quarterback contract. You're a perennial, at least, contender for the playoffs. But in all the big moments, when you've had a chance to really step into a big national moment and say, I'm here, I'm top of the heap, and I'm going to take my fans on a positive journey. He has failed in those moments repeatedly. Not every time, but repeatedly.
1 in 3 as a playoff starter in his career.
Brock Purdy, on the other hand, yes, was knocked out in Philadelphia, and by no means was something amazing against Dallas in the playoffs last year, but I'll give him credit. He goes to the playoffs in a big moment. Seattle, he's down at halftime. Dallas, big-time defense. He wins those games. He does not turn the ball over. Go back to last year, Thursday night at Seattle, broken ribs. He does not disappoint. Sunday night football, week and a half ago, whole nation watching. My God, he beyond didn't disappoint. He was incredible with 4 touchdown throws and a 32-point win over the Cowboys. Brock has had fewer of them, but opportunities to say, I can handle the moment. And he's done so much better already than Kirk has in his. That's why I would pick Brock. It's not a runaway. That's how I'd answer the question.
Right, and I think the system situation in terms of knowing the system, and Kirk Cousins, I'm sure, could assimilate to what Shanahan is doing pretty well and pretty easily, but Brock Purdy's already doing it. So I look at what Kirk has done in terms of his overall career, and he's thrown for more yards many times than Brock Purdy will this year, and maybe than Brock Purdy ever will here with the 49ers, but there's more to it than just your numbers and how many yards you throw for.
Sure.
And Kirk Cousins is in a system where they throw the ball a lot more than the Niners do with Brock Purdy. And I look at the contracts and we put that aside, and the age. Cousins is 35 and Brock Purdy is 23. So yeah, for the next 5 years, of course you'd rather have Brock Purdy. But just for right now, if you look at the numbers across the board, they're very similar in terms of things like interception percentage. Brock's a little bit better. Touchdown percentage, they're almost identical on how many touchdowns per throw you average. And yards, Kirk is going to be better. Interceptions, Brock will be better. They're very comparable. I just was a little bit surprised at how Steiny and Guru tried to dismiss the whole question.
I don't feel it's that obvious of an answer at all. 888-957-957, but that's okay. They're not aware of the fact that they're never allowed to compliment Brock Purdy again. We'll inform them on Monday. I'm sure that'll be a tough moment for them, but they're big people and they'll get over it. Bert and Benicia is next up here on Willie and Dibby. Hi, Bert. What's cooking?
What's up, boys? How's it going?
Good.
What's up?
Hey, I mean, you guys must be some kind of like radio savants to throw this out and get this much airtime talking about this question, because to a logical person or a fan, the answer is Brock. Okay? The answer is Brock. The dude just lost his first regular season game. And what do we like here in the Bay Area? We like homegrown talent. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond. You look at the Giants dynasty that they had. Brock's going to be that dude for us. And he's going to be our quarterback for 10-plus years. He's already won more playoff games than Kirk Cousins has. And you want a dude that lost to the New York Giants last year? That's who you want? A guy who has continually underperformed and underachieved to your fan base when we hold such a high standard here for quarterbacks? No. Brock's our dude. You can tell he has the it factor. He's got that moxie. He processes. He's perfect for this system. He's the dude.
Well, Bert, while I agree with you, I'd say it this way. A, you're right. We are radio savants.
Yeah.
B, what you think is a silly question was answered by our predecessors as silly in the other direction.
Totally.
And so that's why I think we find it fascinating to dive into this for sure. But I will also add something that I will definitely admit about myself first, because I just noticed it in you too. And that is, we have to admit that there is obviously a bias in the direction of anybody who is, quote unquote, your guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's there. You even just said it. You said the Bay Area loves homegrown players. Let me tell you who else does. All the other cities too. Everybody loves drafted players. They're different. They just are.
They're yours.
Yes. It's so hard. We've done this before. I mean, look, it's why Kevin Durant's not here anymore. All kinds of players, Iguodala, Hunter Pence, I guess Christian McCaffrey, like players who have been acquired elsewhere. There is a much bigger barrier to them getting through to be like, ooh, arms around, that's our guy. The Steph Currys, the Clays, the Draymonds, the Kittles, the Buster Posies of the world, that's the good stuff, man. That's the ice cream. That is the absolute best thing.
Yeah.
And so does that enter into this conversation as we try to assess one player versus the other? Obviously, because one's our guy and the other one's never been and never will be our guy.
Well, you never know. I mean, never say never.
Fair enough.
Because
probably will never.
He will be
our
a
guy.
free agent at the end of this year, and if things happen to or with Brock Purdy that make it so they want to move on to another quarterback, and we've all talked about the doomsday scenario of what that would mean, and the name Kirk Cousins always comes up until he's no longer playing football or until Brock Purdy gets a long-term deal. The Kirk Cousins, Kyle Shanahan connection will always be a thing. I do think that these two players just in this year in a vacuum are a lot closer than anybody wants to realize.
Probably.
QB rating, Brock is number 2 and Cousins is number 6. They're two of the only 6 guys to be above 100 in QB rating. Kirk Cousins is having a good year.
He's a good player.
But he's having a good year.
Yeah.
He leads the league in
always has a
touchdowns
good
with
year.
14. He's only thrown 4 picks. TD percentage, the percentage of your throws that result in a TD, they're almost identical, 6.1 and 6% accordingly. Cousins' interception percentage is only 1.7, I believe, which is not very high. Brock's is like 0.4% of his throws are picked off because it's only been one throw, but the numbers are a lot closer than people would think. And yes, of course, we want our guy. Like if it was a coin flip between these two, we would all default to the guy that we know and the guy that was drafted here.
You know what's interesting, though, if you're going to go into stats, because I know you really value the adjusted quarterback rating known as QBR.
Yep.
Founded by ESPN and definitely trumpeted by them. That's the number where you find separation.
For sure.
Kirk Cousins is 13th in the league when it comes to QBR. And wait a minute, I'm having a hard time finding Brock on here. Where is
Look
it?
toward the top, Mark.
Oh, there he is. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's way up at the top as number 1.
Number 1.
Sorry. My bad. I missed that. My
Number 1.
eyes were just darting around. I went by Josh Allen and Tua and just assumed that Brock would be under those guys, but nope, ahead of them too.
Part of that is a byproduct of who you play with.
No doubt.
Because Brock
There's
Purdy,
no doubt.
when you throw from a cleaner pocket and you have an elite run game and you've got the personnel that allows you to, throw the ball to better players, and the Niners have better skill guys than Minnesota does, especially now with Justin Jefferson out for the foreseeable future. Brock's got a better O-line, and he's got a better coach, and he's got a better system, and he's got more talent around him. So those things are all going to lead into that QBR number.
I'll give you some names just for fun who, if you value QBR, who are ahead of Kirk Cousins this year.
I see some of these names. I wonder who you're going to pick.
Geno Smith.
Number 11.
Matthew Stafford.
Is sitting at 10.
I have him at 9. But whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, he's tied for 9th with Jalen Hurts.
There you go. Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
And Baker Mayfield.
We prefer Maker Bayfield.
Baker Mayfield has a better QBR than Kirk Cousins.
Sure does.
So,
sure does.
That's interesting for what it's worth. How about Doug in Wichita? What are you doing, Doug? You're on with Willard and Dibs.
Teach me.
Hey, good afternoon, fellas.
Hi there.
I just got off work, man. I've been sitting here listening to all the conversation going on.
Happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday, guys. So on the question, would I take Cousins right now, straight up for Purdy? No, and simply because of what the previous caller said, Purdy's our homegrown guy. We drafted him. The Niners drafted him. They're developing him. You stay with what's working, okay? Just like we did with Joe Montana. I think everybody just, or at least the ones that are going overboard on how bad of a game Purdy had. I don't think it was that bad of a game. I mean, he was under duress. Okay, great. So was the other quarterback. He threw fewer interceptions in that game than the other quarterback. The other quarterback actually fumbled the ball and was gifted that was a pass attempt.
True.
So, yeah, I don't want to hear all that. Purdy's coming along just fine. In fact, he's coming along better than just fine. And I think he's going to get off in Minnesota. And there was something else I wanted to talk about real quick about Purdy. Somebody who called in on the earlier show today was talking about how you get him out of the pocket and somehow he's not as good. But if my eyes must be deceiving me, because I see a lot of times he's scrambling out, stepping up through and getting to the outside a little bit and dropping dimes. Oh, I don't know, kind of like he did against Dallas a couple weeks ago when he hit Kittle.
Well, and
four touchdowns out of the pocket, Doug.
Yeah, Doug, thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
Have an awesome weekend. Yeah, isn't that, what did Peter King tell us is the first time that's ever happened?
In the next-gen stats era, which is about 10 years going.
In 10 years, no one has ever thrown 4 outside of the pocket TDs in one game before.
Correct.
Until Brock Purdy on Sunday night, week and a half ago.
Just to keep it real, Doug, Brock Purdy actually did fumble in the game. P.J. Walker didn't fumble. It was an incomplete pass that some of you think was a fumble. Brock Purdy actually did fumble, and he was able to recover.
And he recovered his own fumble.
But in terms of fumbles, let's not, cast aspersions that are not based on fact.
Well,
those are facts.
They're facts, but they shouldn't be facts.
Whatever.
They're not. Hey, it was a fumble.
Okay.